Okay, we have more Hearthstone this week. If you've been following our podcast, which is kind of the main thing that we do, it's over at our website at thebuzzershow.com. We had a lightning storm in the area, and it knocked out power, which is a thing that happens around here pretty frequently. It's probably happened, 4 or 5 dozen times since I picked up a lot of this equipment. But for some reason, this storm had something particularly vicious going on in it, and it fried the Ethernet card of my computer. Had to get an Ethernet to USB adapter to fix that. And the USB capability of the soundboard. The soundboard still works, so if we were going to do some kind of live gig and plug it into amps or whatever, we could be doing that. But the whole reason we got that type of soundboard was because of its USB capability. So I've replaced it. I think everything's going to sound okay. It's actually a fancier one, blah, 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 whatever. Unfortunately, that meant we didn't have any time to record anything last week because we didn't have the equipment. So here we are with Hearthstone. I do note the irony of playing a deck that has Lightning Storm in it right after this happened. And Lightning Bolt, but... Anyways, this is a token Shaman that is essentially a hybrid token and mid-range effect. This is the compromise that I've made from not really liking Shaman. If anything, Shaman is super good now, and it's because of a couple of recent additions, like, for example, this 4-mana 7/7. And this usually 0 or 1 mana 5/5 with Taunt. Now, I only have one of these. Which is why we're not running 2. Basic idea here is to get board control and keep it until we can close out with Bloodlust, unless we can do it before then, which is fantastic. So most of the stuff that we have is just concentrated on getting value and getting ahead on the board. So we have some natural decisions here, like 2 Totem Golems, 2 Feral Spirits because of the 2/2/3s. We only have 1 Lava Shock because we don't have a ton of things with overloading. None of the heavy ones. We're not running anything like, Elemental Destruction, where we overload ourselves into oblivion. But we have a few things that are 2, like the Feral Spirits and whatnot, so it sort of makes sense. We have a Tunnel Trog because we're a Shaman, and we have several things that are going to trip this off, and, being able to play that turn 1 and, say, a Totem Golem turn 2 is pretty good. Beyond that, we're just having a few things that we're looking to clear out with. We have a couple of Lightning Bolts, just to do 3 damage for 1 mana. We have an Earth Shock to get through a particularly nasty Taunter or bad effect towards the mid-game when we're looking to close it out. We have a Hex because, once again, we're a Shaman. A couple of Mana-Tide Totems because the totems then trigger off other effects. They work off this, obviously, and some other stuff. The dream, of course, is to be playing Tuskar Totemics and getting all sorts of fun things out of them, like Mana-Tide Totems or Totem Golems. But that's another way to help flood the board. And I have 1 of these in here. Because at worst, it's a decently statted minion, but in general, you should always be able to make it at least a 5/5. If you've really got to control the board before, then it can be even more than that. And then finally, just the stuff down here. Fire Elementals, super good. Great value. And a Frost Giant, because we're assuming we're going to be hero powering a decent amount. It's the same principle behind the thing from below. We think we're going to be touching our hero power several times, and it's always a late game option if we need it. It's a new month. Today is August 1st, so we're ranked 22. We're just going to give a different deck a shot. I don't want to keep playing the same deck over and over. Greatest success with it. It's been a winning deck. But I just like playing it.
Troll versus Valera.
But I didn't want to play an entire week of it. That's insulting to you, the viewer.
For Doomhammer.
Oh. Sure, we'll keep a Rockbiter. There he is. 4 mana 7/7. We've done it. We've drawn the nuts. Unfortunately, we don't have any activators for our Tunnel Trog yet, but it's okay. It'll scare him a little bit. Maybe he'll coin Eviscerated or something. No. He was not tricked. Well, we got the dream. We have the dream, ladies and gentlemen.
It's getting hot in here.
Right in the face. Perfect. Let's see which totem we get out of this. Okay. One of the more successful decks right now is a Rushdown Shaman. And I just don't like that style. So we're not even going to engage the idea. That makes a lot more sense for pressure than trying to play anything else that turn. With the 2 overload, we can still play something like a Mana Tide Totem next turn if we need to. Maybe the 7/7 gets, I don't know, sapped or something.
Mind if I roll need? I feel icky.
Oh, well, I mean,
Did you bring some fish?
let's see what we get off of it. A healing one. It's interesting. We're going to do a kind of hybrid of keeping the board a little bit clearer and going face. Hide that dumb battle cry. Did you bring some fish? No. Nobody brought any fish. I think the play is clear here.
Elements I like. Totems.
Too much pressure not to go face. And we do have 3 damage in hand, thanks to the Rockbiter weapon. Can't say that bothers me. He may not have any great way to clear this, so it's, you know, kind of a moot point. He should have started if he was going to do that by attacking first, though. Just to draw the extra card, see if it would have gotten him another solution. Oh, we'll do it this way then. This is more fun. Now, this deck can certainly rush down. It's kind of got both elements to it. It's just I hated the fact that if you have a rushdown deck that isn't the best, you just run out of steam and then you just feel like, what am I even doing playing? It's a consequence of the style of deck, don't get me wrong, but if you don't have the best cards to run in an aggro deck, then you just start feeling like an idiot the whole time. So having stuff like, you know, the Fire Elemental then gives you some element of control and some more mid-game to late-game options. So this week will be a little bit more Hearthstone. Chrono Trigger will return next week. We're at kind of an exciting point in the game, so it sucks to miss a week, but we'll be back to it as soon as possible. Vesperia should be on the weekend as usual, and then from there we're just going to keep on chugging.